Thanks for joining tonight's info session for the Film and Photographer Preservation and Collection Management, MA. Tonight's agenda, we will have a brief introductions. The graduate program director will talk about the program overview. I will continue with the admissions and funding. And at the end, we will have the questions and answers. First, I want to introduce the graduate program director, Terry GV.
Hi.
Thank you. We also have the student partner outreach coordinator, Kristen Adhag. She's not joining us tonight, but you will get a chance to work with her once you're in the program. For the program administration team, myself, Inini, my coworker, Marnie Gilbert, and Tanisha Boyle. And we also have the manager for the administration team, Daniel Garcia, joining us tonight. Thank you. So before we begin the session, I'd like to acknowledge the land that Toronto Metropolitan University is located in downtown Toronto. Toronto is in the dish with one spoon territory. The dish with one spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. We have the link below here. I invite you to check out the land acknowledgement to learn more about why this is important to the Toronto Metropolitan University. Okay, Terry, I'm gonna pass the mic to you.
Thank you, Ellen. Can you all hear me? Yes, I only see two people nodding, so it's a test to see, how many of you are gonna switch on, your video. So as for now, you are two. Let's see how many you are at the end of my presentation. Oh, very nice. Thank you. Oh, I love it. Okay, IG denied me. Oh, me. Okay, now you're talking. Okay, I love it. Ellen, is it? Yeah, you're gonna keep the slides? Is it necessary? Yeah. Okay. Good. It's always difficult to prep a presentation about the program because I don't exactly know what you already know. So I'm going to go through it, quite briefly, assuming a few things. And if I went too fast, well, I'm here. So if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. One first thing I would love to ask you would be, could you put in the chat if you are interested in the film stream or in the photo stream? I think it's important. And that's the first thing I want to tell you is you cannot apply for both streams at the same time. It's one or the other. One of the things that I think is important about the program is about it's how it's been balanced in terms of theory and in terms of practical work. I mean, okay, now I'm looking at who is a motion picture. Okay, photo, okay. Okay, I'm not doing the math, but I'm sure Daniel is. Yes, the balance between practical work and theoretical work. I think it's a very well-balanced program for that. You will have history of photo classes, history of film classes. You will have courses about film collection, about photography collection. And at the same time, you will have some photography preservation classes, some cataloging and registration. I think it's one of the assets of the program to balance theory and practical approaches like this. The second thing that you need to know is it's called film and photography preservation and collection management. Yes, I was able to say it, properly, because it's probably the longest title for an MA ever. It's about preservation and collection management, which means that you're going to work with objects all the time in film and in photography. Most of you must have done some, oh, one more person, Lauren, thank you very much. Most of you have worked, I'm assuming, with film and photography, but in most cases, you work with their images. What has been projected, on a screen, or what you've seen, maybe on a display of a computer. In this program, you will work with objects, with film in cans and with photograph printed and printed in very different ways. It could be print, silver, regular print, photographic print, but it could be printed also in magazines, and you will work with magazines. As an example, this afternoon, I was at the Royal Museum of Ontario. I don't know if you've heard about that museum. It's one of the biggest museums we have in town, because I was teaching the history photography class, but instead of teaching that in a class on campus, I'm teaching that in museums. So with the students, we are going either at the Art Gallery of Ontario or at the ROM, and we teach with the objects. So that's the beauty of it. I don't have a video projector, and I show the objects to the students, the real objects that you will be working with them. So I think that's the second point. Really, you will see a lot of objects, and that's a good thing, because you are supposed to be trained, to manage them. Well, third point, you will be taught by faculty, a lot of faculty from the camp, from the university, but also by professionals from the field. That goes along with working with objects, having a program well balanced between theory and practical. We have people teaching and who are working at the Archive of Ontario or in private collections, but they are experts in the field. That's why they are working in the field, and that's why they are also teaching in our program. I think that's something very important for you to know. Well, do I have to say that the professional learning experiences are the backbone of our program? Probably not. I'm sure you take that, online with the internship, summer internship that you have to do at the end of the first year, and the residency placement that you do at the end of the second year. I can definitely give you details about how it works, but briefly, the internships is between 8 and 12 weeks. It's full time, and it's you who are doing the work to find the internship. Basically, organization like MoMA, Met, I don't know, Film Museum, in Amsterdam, they are putting out offers for internship. You apply, we support you, and you get in. The residency program is very different because it's been tailored for you by the program and between you and the institution. So it's a dialogue that we have, the three of us, institution, you, us, to make sure that it's always a good fit. It lasts 6 months. So basically you leave the program when you are fully taught, and you get in your residency, and you work for 6 months for the institution. You do 2 things during your residency. You split your time in 2. Half of the time it's to work for the institution, some kind of internship. You do everything they ask you to do, but coffee, I would say, and Xerox. And the other half is you do research on the body of work coming from the collection, and that's your thesis. two different things, but they go along and they go together. And that means that at the end of your residency, you've worked for 6 months for an institution. So the conclusion is very simple. When you leave the program, not only you have an MA degree, but you also have a first professional experience, which is very rare. And that's basically what makes the difference as soon as you get on the work market. Again, I might be going quite fast on this. I'm happy to come back on it. The pool of partners we have for the residency is just endless. So we have the main institutions, in the Western countries, but we also have, very local and small community centers that are being involved with us, because we don't judge. That's not our work. We don't do that. Okay, we are training you to be able to work in any kind of collection. So you can go to the Met if you want to, but you can also go in a community-centered collection. Again, I'm more than happy to discuss that with you. I had amazing experience with students, sending them where they wanted to go. That was quite beautiful sometimes. I remember one student, who wanted to go to Dharmasala in India. And I said, okay, well, that's going to be, are you sure? I mean, because it's far and it's a bit more complicated. And where is that place? And we work all together to make it possible. And she had an amazing residency in Dharmasala for 6 months. So again, we could discuss examples like this. I will end my intro by talking about your applications. We read a lot of applications. So can I give you a few tips? Because I mean, that will go a long way. Statements. You have to write a 1-page and something statement. So it's about why are you applying to the program? So talk about yourself. It's good. But don't talk only about yourself. Talk about you in the program. How will you be fitting in the program? What are you interested in the program? What do you know about the program? Do you know the faculty? Do you know what they are doing? What kind of research they are doing? Do you know the list of, partner we have for residency? Show us that you know what you're talking about and why you are applying to that program. We sometimes read, very formal application. It's not always very satisfying. So make it personal, okay? Do your homework, know what you're talking about, why you are interested in the program, show that, and that will go a long way. You need 2 letter of references. It's time to do it now. I write a few letter of references, each year. My worst nightmare is when, a student is asking me for a letter of reference with 2 days notice. That I'm really unhappy about it. Of course, I'm going to do it. Okay, I always do it, but I cannot do it as well as if I would have had, 2 weeks to do that. Second, inform your referee. They have to write a lot of letters of recommendation. So, and to be honest, we have a lot of other things to do. So if you help them, that goes a long way. Why are you applying? What did you do with them? How did it go with them? And what about the program? Oh, you have a link. Perfect. Give a link in your email and give them ideally a month. Okay. Don't give them the real deadline. Okay. Give them the 2 weeks before. Always keep a buffer. Last, you need to provide a CV. in your CV, make sure that you include the section awards, if you, like this, because we are giving points for awards. So that's very simple. Create section awards and section experiences, because we are also giving points to experiences. Sometimes, students don't have a very strong academic background, but they have very good experiences, and we value that a lot. And I don't know, have you, a very quick question. Did you watch the videos that we put on our website? You can just nod or do something like this. Yes, you did. Are you aware about our Instagram account? Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that's good, because it's where we put, I'm going to share them with you too. Okay. You'll see a lot of things. On Instagram, it's run by the students. So we work with them, but mostly it's being edited by the students. So I think it's giving you another sense of what's happening in the background, and from the student this time, not from, the program administration or myself. And that's more or less it. Again, I'm here for your questions. I'm still at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not bad, from 2 to 9. Okay, Hélène, back to you.
Thank you, Terry. So I'm just putting on the Instagram slides here that Terry's talking about, and he also shared the handle in the chat. Check it out. Okay, so I'm going to continue to talk about admissions and funding opportunities. If you have any questions for Terry now, you can type in the chat or Q&A, or if you prefer to ask questions later on, once I finish this, we will go direct to the questions and answers. Okay, before I begin, I'd like to introduce Yale School of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, short in YSGPS. I think many of you are already familiar with the YSGPS website. YSGPS oversees all the graduate programs with administration that including admissions, marketing, promotion, and also the scholarships. It has tons of information there. I urge you to check it out. If you have any questions later on for the applications, for general questions such as the transcripts, English language proficiency, or application uploading portal, you can reach out to graduate admissions, YSGPS, and grad help at torontomu.ca. If you have any program-specific questions, for example, statement of interest, CV, reference letters, the program, the residency, internship, or major research paper, you can reach out to the program at gradppcm@torontomu.ca. Application deadlines. I want to spend a little bit more time to talk about application deadlines. For domestic applicants, we have the first consideration deadline is January 20. This deadline, it means if you submit a complete application by this date, your application will be reviewed shortly after this date. We will send out the first batch of offers sometimes in February, March. The advantage for this deadline is we are able to include your admissions application for scholarship competition if you are eligible. So if you're eligible, we will reach out to you by email sometimes in February, and then we will include your admissions application for competition. So that's the biggest advantage. And then after the January 20, we continue accept the applications until the program is full. For international applicants, we have a priority consideration deadline that is December 1st, 2024, which is less than a month now. We prioritize international applicants in this admissions cycle. We will review your applications right after December 1st, and we are aiming to issue out offers in the third week of December, just before the Christmas break. So if you can submit a complete application by this date, the biggest advantages is your application will be reviewed by after this day. The international applicants are very competitive because we only have very limited number of seats in the program. Again, we also accept applications after this date. January 2025, that's the first consideration deadline, same as domestic applicants. However, it depending on the number of applications we receive and how competitive they are. If the program is full for the international seats, and we also have a couple students on our wait list, we will close the international application portal. That's before March 15, perhaps shortly after January 20, it depending on the application pools we receive. So when I talk about a application, I'm talking about a complete application, which means you complete the 2 steps and you also submit all the required documents plus your 2 reference. I will talk about a little bit more in the next one. Application process, it's a 2-step. The step 1, you need to submit a online application with Ontario University Application Center, short in OUAC, OUAC. The online application form asks you to fill out your post-secondary education information and your personal status and also the 2 referees information. So the key here that Terry mentioned earlier, you want to start your step 1 application process as early as possible. So the biggest advantages is here is as long as you start step 1, TMU will be able to reach out to your referee with the contact information that you provided during the step 1 process. And they will receive an email with the reference instruction and a link, and they can submit the reference on your behalf. So the earlier you start step 1, you give as much time to your referees as possible. For step 2, with the 2 to 3 business days, TMU will send you an email with online identity and student ID information. And from there, you can create your online application uploading portal once you have your documents ready, so you can upload there. So it's your responsibility to reach out and follow up with your referees and to make sure if you are aiming to submit a complete application by December 1st, for example, if you're an international applicant, the deadline for them is December 1st. So Terry said earlier, you can always give 1 week ahead or 2 weeks ahead if you can. So just have a little bit buffer time for you. If you submit all the required documents, but we don't receive your 2 reference, or if we only receive 1, then your application is not complete. So the graduate admissions will not be able to review your application, will not push forward for your application. So the key here to start early, reach out to your referee. Ideally, you should have reached out to your referees before you begin the step 1. So when they receive the email, so it's not a surprise. Okay. Terry mentioned a little bit about admissions requirements. I'm going to go through quickly as well. There are 2 components for the admission requirements. The first one is academic. We're asking for a 4 years degree. We're looking at the last 2 years of cumulative GPA with a minimum of a B. No matter what institutions you come from, graduate admissions will calculate your cumulative GPA based on institution and the GPA scale that you are coming from. And then from there, they will convert the GPA to the TMU standard. For the non-academic requirements, the first one is a statement of interest. This is a very important cover letter for your whole application. It's about 500 words. We want to learn more about you. What's your motivations to study in the program? How your academic educational backgrounds prepare you to succeed in the program? What's your major research paper that you want to work on? If you have any professional work experience or volunteer experience that are relevant to the program, be sure to include in there. If you have any awards, achievements, or highlights, anything that are relevant to the program and that can strengthen your application, and you should highlight in the statement of interest. Along with that, we want to see your resume, including all the post-secondary education backgrounds and professional volunteer experience, anything that you have achieved so far that showcase you might be a good candidate for the program. The last one is to reference letter. We're asking for 2 academic reference letter. If for some reason you cannot have 2, you can have 1 professional. We want to remind you for the reference letter, we want to hear from your referees about your academic strengths, the skills, the written skills, the research skills, the critical thinking, analytical skills, the skills related to academic that can demonstrate that you are a competitive candidate, that you can succeed in the program. So if you have a professional reference, do remind them about those skills. So usually for the professional reference, they would focus on the personality rather than skills. So this is something we want to remind you to. Again, start step 1. So you give as much time as possible for your referee to prepare a reference letter. You can also provide them with your statement of interest, your resume, and have a chat, a meeting with them, refresh their memories and talk about the program, talk about the research project you want to work on, just to help them to write you a more competitive reference. Danielle, Terry, let me know if you want to add anything here. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about the funding. We have admissions awards for every applicant. This is, you don't need to apply. It's based on your admissions application. So when we issue an offer out, we will attach this admission awards to your offer letter. We have, the first one is Toronto Metropolitan Graduate Fellowship. This is for domestic applicants, value from 2,000 to 6,000. We have Toronto Metropolitan Graduate Development Award. This one is for international applicants, same value from 2,000 to 6,000. We also have Ontario Graduate Fellowship. We only have one for the program. This one is 12,000. This is for a top candidate, a domestic candidate. The 3 admission awards is only for the first year. In your second year, we also have the some funding for every student. We will have that information sometime in the summer when we receive the funding confirmation from the university before the semester begins in the fall. In addition, we have program awards. Once you are in the program, we will email you with the details when the awards application portal is open. There are 2 external funding scholarships. The first one is the Ontario Graduate Scholarship, OGS. And there's also Toronto Med Graduate Scholarship, TMGS. Um, those two in combination is for both domestic and international students. It's 15,000 for one academic year. In order to be eligible, we are looking for A minus in each year of your last 2 years of your studies. If you are eligible, if you applied by January 20 application deadline, we're able to include your admissions application for competition. If you're eligible, we'll reach out to you sometime in February to fill out a application form, and then we will attach to your admissions application for competition. So the timeline to receive the results is early May. And if you receive this scholarship, we will email you sometimes in May. For the second one, it's a Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council Canada Graduate Scholarship, short in SHRC. This one is 27,000 for one academic year. It's only for domestic students. Same eligibility, you need to have A minus in each year of your last 2 years of your studies. This one you need to apply by yourself. The deadline is coming up December 1st. So same application deadline for international applicants for the admissions application. So if you're eligible, I strongly suggest you to apply. For all of them, the scholarship I just talked about here, in the second year, we will double calculate your GPA. If you're eligible, we will reach out to you, notify you. And the program has some info sessions about how to submit a strong competitive application. So we have some assistance workshops there to help you. So those are great scholarships. We also have other fundings and paid opportunities. The first one is the Graduate Scholarship Awards from the YSGPS website. It has tons of information about different categories of scholarships. Be sure to check out. It's usually based on your education backgrounds, where you're from, your personal status, and your research topic. There's one section is external funding. It has tons of different scholarships there. Be sure to check out there. We have assistantships, and that's something you can apply to when you're studying the program. You can also work part-time as the graduate assistant, research assistant, and the teaching assistant. And those assistantships are the great experience for you when you're studying the program. When we receive the assistantships from other faculty, we will email you guys by email, and that's usually sometimes just before the fall semester begins, sometimes throughout the year, and so you will have those opportunities to apply. And the last one is Career Boost. Career Boost is one section of the career section on the TMU website. It has a lot of part-time opportunities for graduate students. So this is one more opportunities there. This is the end of the presentation. So just some contact information about curriculum, academic questions. You can reach out to Terry directly. For admissions, submission, system issues, anything about admissions, you can reach out to the program email, grad PPCM. I'm going to stop sharing so we can see each other and we can answer some of your questions. You can raise your hand and unmute yourself, ask questions directly,
Yeah,
or
we have
you
a few
can.
questions already in the
Oh,
chat
okay,
that I
that's
can
great.
maybe start with. I'd like to hear more about the residency and if it's possible to work at an institution that is not included on the list already, or how that would work. Yes, it is possible. Yeah, we always do that each year. But we take the time to speak with you. We try to make sure we try to understand the motivations, behind your wish to go to that placement. And then we reach out to the institution. I think that's that part I want to insist on. It's not you who make a deal with the institution. It's a big deal because they have to respond to specific academic requirement because you are getting credits and you are doing your thesis there. So basically, you talk to us, you explain your motivation, we talk with you, we make sure that you have all the parameters in mind. Do you have enough money to go there? Do you have a visa? What about your cat? These kind of things, and we make sure that everything has been taken into consideration. And when we think, that it's a good match also for the program, that you are taking into consideration the fact that you will receive training about collection management and preservation. Then we reach out to the institution and we establish what we call an MOU. So yeah, long answer to your question, it's possible. We actually encourage that. And usually the feedback from the institution is good. So that's an answer to your question. I think it was Isabella. Okay, restoration. We don't do restoration. We don't do conservation. Okay, I want to be very straightforward about that. This is not what we do. Same thing. We won't train you as curators. That's not what we do. We train you as collection managers. Okay, and as collection managers, you know how to do preservation, and that's why it's part of the title of that MA. Okay, conservation, it's another ball game. Okay, it's another kind of training, another type of course is much more scientific than the one we will be offering you here. I'm glad you are asking that question because I don't want any misunderstanding about this, and any frustration when you are in the program. Like, oh, I thought I would do some restoration or that I would become the best curator ever on the planet. No, you will be a very good collection manager. That's for sure. I was wondering if I could. That's Beatrice. It's where are you, Beatrice? Oh, you're here. Thank you. So what you're suggesting is maybe working with two institutions for a residency. Yeah, I would be happy to meet with you, discuss with you. But remember, the goal of your residency is to offer you an opportunity to get some training, hands-on, to two, to do a thesis, and three, and that's the result of 1 and 2, to have a first professional experience that you can put on your CV. My point is, if you have two institutions, it's different. It doesn't show as much on your CV. So again, we're not, now mandate. I'm happy to talk, but we would have to work on your rationale, and make sure that it works. Okay, I see 2 hands. Isabella, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I just wanted to, well, thank you first and foremost for responding to my question. I wish I could join you all on video. I am driving, so
Oh, wow.
unable to.
Isabella, can you tell me, did you answer the question, film and photo? Sorry, I asked that in the chat. 3 of you, I think, didn't, or 2 of you didn't say it. It's important for us to know. And what did you say, Isabella? Sorry.
My preference would be for film.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm all yours.
So my follow-up question would then just be to better understand then what the process would look like for the placement. So the summer placement, like, is it kind of the similar thing? I know that you had mentioned already that it would be at the student's initiative to kind of identify a an institution that they would like to work for during that 8 to 12 week period. But I just want to understand, like, is it still the same criteria that you're judging or approving the institution based on, or kind of just understand the process around that?
Yeah, we still have the same criteria. I mean, we want to make sure that you will get the training you need for the program. So I think that's, one of our goals. So we have an instructor who drive what we call the internship and residency course. And during that training, that's what you discuss. So you are being channeled toward, some potential placement that you can find by yourself. But the thing is, again, very different, because internships are being offered by the institution. They have program, they have training program. I mean, all of that is organized by the institution and at the initiative of the institution. When the residency placement that we are offering, it's our initiative. You will not find another program in the world offering this. Okay, this program is unique. That there is no way around that. Okay, and I think the unicity of that program rely on the residency placement that we can offer. And it's really then when we talk, between you, what you are expecting. Again, I don't want to send you all, at the film museum in Amsterdam. Maybe you will be better, suited at the CFMDC, which is a local institution here, because according to where you want to go. And it's an alignment also between what you are doing for your internship placement during the summer after the end of the first year and with your residency. See, let's say, okay, during my internship, I'd love to work in a small institution and do everything. Okay, good, you can do that. And maybe during your residency placement, you would like to work in a big institution where you will be in a department where you do only what the department, is doing. So we work with you on that rationale just to make sure that when you leave the program at the professional level, you receive, all of what we want you to receive, but also you've taken the direction that you are interested in. I hope it's answering, the question. I'm trying to give you, a bit of the nitty-gritty and how it works, the beauty of the residency placement is how we are tailoring them with you and the institution. I won't, drop that, because for us, it's key that it's a win-win. Everybody has to win in that thing. We don't want to send you in an institution and after 2 months, it's a mess. This is not what we want. It's not good for us. It's not good for you. It's not good for the institution. So that's why it's driven a tiny bit differently. Long answer to your question. Sorry. Medija, that's how we pronounce your first name?
Hi, it's Maggie, but don't
Maggie.
worry.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Hi.
thank you for all the information. It's very insightful. I wanted to ask more of a technical question about the application process. English is not my first language, but I've been doing my bachelor in English. Do you need any additional proof for that? Or do you need proof for one of the department chairs or something like that? Or do you have information on that? Or is there something else needed?
Well, English is not my first language as well. I mean, as you can hear. But Hélène,
Yes.
maybe it's a question for you.
Yeah, I can answer that question. So, depending on the education you had, if you have a 2 years education in a university setting, where the primary language instruction is English, then you are exempt from that requirements. All you need to do is request a letter from the registrar's office from the university to say, the program you did, the primary instruction is in English. So you mentioned about that you studying here in Toronto, or did you say that?
No, I'm studying in Paris right now, but it's all in English.
Oh, in English, right? Is the degree program
Yes, it's a Bachelor Studies BFA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's great. You just need to have the a letter from the registrar's office say English is primary languages instruction, and you are exempt from the English language proficiency requirements. So I'm gonna send that link to the chat so you can take a look
Thank you.
quickly. Yeah.
Mia, you're next on my screen, and I'm trying to look in the chat. I cannot see in what stream you are interested. But
Photo.
photo. Did you put it in the
No, I didn't. Should I
Okay,
write it?
good. No worries. I'm going to just
I
see
was a
that.
little late. I didn't want to interrupt the
No
conversation.
no worries.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
Okay.
Tell me, what do you want
Yes.
to know about the program?
I want to specialize in photo, but I'm also
Uh-huh.
curious if graduates end up being attractive to other types of collections as well outside of their stream generally. Just out of curiosity, I'm in Montreal, so there's a lot of you know, opportunities in photo and film, but I'm just trying to think, you know, would there be other types of collections that would accept graduates from your program as well?
So may I ask you to be more specific? What kind of other coalition you have in mind?
Well, I don't know. There's art galleries that have collections of paintings or of other types of things. And I was just, since there's so many art museums here, and I was just wondering if I was, if I would be attractive as a graduate to not only photo collections, having graduated from this program, if graduates often end up in, you know, maybe special collections in a library, or if in art galleries that don't necessarily have photos. I don't know if that makes sense.
No. See, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I think I understand better now. When you leave the program, you're a specialist of your stream. And that there is no way around. Okay, you're not, if you do photo, Mia, you won't be a specialist of film. You will be a specialist of photography. But I think your question is, can I find some work in places that are dedicated to painting? Because they might have some photographs in the work.
Because I want to specialize in photo, but I'm aware that I might not immediately find just the photo job. You know, maybe I will have to look elsewhere at other collections and art, you know, or in other things. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Well, my answer is yes, because you can find photographs everywhere. And most of the time, they are not being taken care of. There is no department. Just think about the Art Gallery of Ontario. I mean, you know, that's the big museum here in Toronto. The department is in and out. You know, it was created, but then they stopped the department and then they reopened it. And it's like, you know, it's not as it's not seen as valuable, a photo department, than a painting department, a modern painting department. But still, you have photograph everywhere. And when you talk with Sophie Hackett, I mean, and that now I'm talking about the curator of photograph at the HU, she'll tell you, yeah, we have hundreds of thousands photographs in the collection. So yeah, we need hands to work on that. And we have alumni who are working in very different, you know, institutions, and not only specifically photographic. I hope I'm answering your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Beatrice, you next.
Could you talk a little bit about the Paris workshop? And I was wondering if that's for both streams.
Okay, the Paris workshop. Well, that's a great workshop, I can tell you that. But that will not take place this year, for example. It doesn't happen every year for a very simple reason. It's privately funded. It's me who's been running that workshop, and I mean, it's been existing for years, decades actually. But I took it over a few years ago, but I had to find private funds to do that, and that is quite difficult, you know, to go out and say, okay, would you like to found, you know, the workshop? Anyway, that's, maybe you don't want to hear about that. It usually happens at the end of April. because it's the end of the winter semester and also because it's beautiful in Paris at the end of April and the beginning of May. That's a parenthesis. I did it once only for photography and once for both. But I had a colleague of mine who came with me and did the film stream of the Paris workshop. And some of the visits were for both streams. You could go to the French Society of Photography if you are interested in film, because you're going to see some Marais and some Muybridge and some Jensens, you know, whereas some of the authors who did some chronophotographic images. Or you can go to the Albert Kahn Museum, because the Albert Kahn, you might have heard of the Archive of the Planet collection. It's made of autochrome plates, you know, the first color process in photography at the beginning of the 20th century, but also made of films a lot. So we were able to find, you know, common visits. It was happening over 2 weeks. It's very intense. You come back tired, I'm telling you that. That's because you visit 1 to 2 collections a day. You stay for 2 to 3 hours each time, but it's magical because it's, I mean, I cannot smile about that, but because you get in museums and you get in the curatorial rooms, and then they open the door and pull images. And sometimes we went to the French National Library. You know, it's like going to the Library of Congress. It's big, it's huge, it's complicated, it's French, it's administration. You have dozens of doors to push before you see a photograph, and you're lucky. Well, we went in the vault, and the curator was, okay, so I'm going to grab that one, and was grabbing boxes of images and putting the images on the table, and we were looking at them. So I think it's kind of it's a one in a lifetime thing that you do. We went to see films. We went in a fort that was built at the end of the 19th century that had been turned in a preservation center to see films from the end of the 19th century. And they pulled, you know, films from the Lumiere brothers. And and we were just looking at the films by the Lumiere brothers like this. I mean, it's really something. And they love us, because they know we know how to handle images, how to handle objects. Again, we are not pretending to training curators, so they like that too. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I need to do it again. I need to find the money. I mean, that's the thing. I do that on my own time. My only condition is to not pay to work, you know? So I just need to cover the minimum. But it's we need to do it again. I'm glad you are interested.
Thank you so much.
Phoenix, are you film or photography?
I'm film.
Okay.
Yes.
So how can I help you?
My main question is regarding like digital film. I know the industry is more and more people are kind of like switching over to digital cameras rather than traditional. Are we going to be trained in how to like preserve those digital films as well, or is it more of a traditional film route?
It's mostly traditional film, but you have a class about digital preservation. You have a class about digital applications. So that's already 2 classes about this, and we will expand about this. It's part of the thing that we want to adjust in the near future. But you know, we used to have a chemistry class that we don't do anymore, to have actually a digital preservation class, where you learn about them and how to manage files and all of that. Am I answering your question, Phoenix?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you calling from Canada? Or where I mean, where are you? I'm curious, you know?
I'm actually calling from Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, we are sending a student at UCLA in January to work, you know, in the film archive there. And the others, where are you calling from? I'm just curious, you know, put that in the chat if you want, just if you don't feel, but it's always nice.
Yes.
Ooh, Winnipeg, Vancouver. Ooh, nice. Right. Richmond, Virginia. Ooh, Richmond. Election day in the States, huh? It's Ottawa, Toronto. Nice. Do you have other questions?
Yes, that's what I'm about to remind everyone. It's already 7, so let me know if you have any questions. It's the last chance you can ask a question to Terry directly.
Daniel,
Go
you
ahead.
have a question.
Hi, thank you for all the information today. I have one about the statement of interest. It's just I feel like there are not like I think there aren't any like undergraduate programs regarding preservation or collection management, and even like people coming from a film background, we don't have like courses pretty much about preservation or collection management. So I feel like I don't know, maybe most of us are kind of like green in that field. How much should we stress in the statement the potential project? Like how specific should we be about it? Yes. So can we be just generic? Should we do like a deeper research to figure something out?
Well, you just laid out very good reason to apply to this program, right? Because you are green, as you said, because it doesn't really exist, you know, elsewhere. So I think that's something that you can definitely state first, you know. And for your interest, just tell us what you are interested in, you know, what kind of research would you like to do? And I know that sometimes it's difficult to know, but just be honest and say, listen, I'm interested in a movie. I mean, I don't know, Daniel, are you film or photography? Sorry, I didn't. Film?
Yes, film.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you might say that you are interested in home movies or and that the thing you would like to study and that and therefore you know, it's also forcing yourself to about this and say, okay, if I am interested in no movie, what institution would be interesting for me to be in touch with, you know? And if you can already align these two things and raise maybe 1 or 2 questions that would explain your interest, that's already good.
Okay, that's it. Okay,
I think what's important for your application is to make us understand that you know to what you are applying. I mean, that's for all of you here, okay? And say, okay, I know the program, I know who's teaching, I know the courses, I check the courses, and I have a good sense of what I want, you know, I have a sense of what I want to do, I'm interested in the residency, blah, blah, you know, talk about you and talk about you in the program, you know, not in a vacuum.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
More questions? Last chance. I think John in the chat just trying to tell us that you're interested in photo, right? There's not a question there. Okay. So thank you for everyone joining tonight. Thank you for your time, and especially those of you who join internationally. It's a pleasure to meet you guys, see your faces. So if you have any questions, please reach out and to the program email, grad@ppcm@torontomu.ca, and I will get back to you there. If any questions I cannot answer, I will reach out to Terry for help regarding curriculum and other questions. yeah, so I look forward to receiving everyone's application. I'm gonna stop recording now.
And I look forward to reading them.